Hi guys, Shanna here. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. Today, I would like to talk about how we schedule our homeschool for the year. So, before we go any further, please scroll down and hit the big red subscribe button. Let YouTube know that you are interested in this content. Turn on the bell notification, and then you'll be the first to know when we have new things to share. As many of you know, we are secular homeschoolers. Now, this is not specific to secular homeschoolers. This is how anyone probably schedules their homeschool. So what I like to do is sit down with a calendar and figure some things out. So usually by now in the year, and this year's very different because it's the spring of 2020. Well, I guess now it's summer of 2020. That went fast. It's been a crazy year. So scheduling anything is really up in the air. And I know that there are more people here and there are more people watching because it is so uncertain what is going to happen in the educational system in the world right now. Here in Texas, they proclaimed that kids would be going back to school, that it's totally safe, that there will be masks provided but not required. And then the cases kept rising. So it is very unclear what the world looks like in 6 weeks when it's time to start school. They have not actually decided anything much. The districts have not made any announcements yet. So everybody is up in the air. And I know that there are a lot of people finding me, a lot of people coming and asking questions that never would have if we weren't all in this crazy situation. Times like this, I'm so thankful that we homeschool. When everything kind of hit the fan in March and our schools just didn't reopen after spring break here in my area, I was very thankful that we homeschooled. It took many of our local districts a long time to get up and running with finishing out their school year, and we were right on track with what we had already done. So I'm very thankful that that's the case. I'm very thankful that we've been afforded this opportunity. But I know that there are many people coming with questions because you're about to do something you never thought you were going to. And I'm here to help. I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'm hoping to build a secular community here so that it's easier to find. When we started, it was near impossible to find any answers to any of the questions that we had. I didn't know how to find secular curriculum. I didn't know where to go, who to reach out to. We really struggled. We didn't know anybody who homeschooled at the time. It was really hard. I just want to be that voice to fill that void because it's clearly lacking, to get more of the information out there. I feel like there's so many resources available to the religious-based homeschooler that just aren't there for the secular-minded homeschooler. And I really hope that with a lot of communication that can be changed. So because of that, I'm here to share how we schedule our homeschool. Again, doesn't have anything to do with being secular or non-secular at this point. It's just making a schedule. Okay, so if you've been around for any period of time, then you know that we have chosen both last year, our first year, and this year to continue. We use Timberdoodle curriculum kits. And if you would like to know what comes in them, then you can go on to our channel and we have other videos of unboxing this specific curriculum. So if you have any questions about what's in them, then that's where you're gonna go. This is literally about how to schedule your homeschool plan, how to get your lessons in for the year. So Timberdoodle, if you've ordered their kits, and actually I just found out in answering a question for a friend that you can purchase just the handbook and access to the online scheduler for $40. I'll try to leave a link to that down below in the description box, but you do not have to get the entire kit to get the gloriousness of the online scheduler, which I do plan to use, but I'm going to show you how to do this just by hand. It's really that easy. So I'm taking everything into account with planning our homeschool year. This is going to be our first year with 2 kids and homeschooling. So my goal is to try to do as much as possible together as a family. Any read alouds, I'm hoping to sit together. I've actually just finished filming an entire video about my plan for science and doing that together as a family. So my goal is going to be to minimize effort and maximize return. So here's what you need to do in order to plan your homeschool year. You need to have a calendar. You need to have an idea of when you're going to start. Many homeschoolers decide to do year-round schooling and take more frequent breaks, more frequent, smaller breaks. We haven't done that. It just works better for me to stay somewhat near the school schedule, not exactly. We tend to start, and my plan is to start this year, August 1. So that first week, either the last week of July, first week of August, right in there. And this coming year, that's going to be, well, it looks like it'll be August 3rd, but I might start it July 27th. Because, as we've mentioned with the insane events of 2020, their dance recital that was scheduled just after Memorial Day is now going to happen just before Labor Day. And there's a lot that goes into that. So that entire week of show week, we will be 45 minutes away from our home in downtown Houston in the Wortham Theater building all night, basically. So we'll be down there until 9 and 10 o'clock at night. That's just not a week that I want to be worrying about schoolwork. So I know for sure that week and probably the week before when they're doing massive rehearsals at the studio that we are going to be not doing, it's just an added layer of something I don't want to deal with. And so I try to be done mid-May to not coincide with all of the dance extras that we have. And so instead, we're just gonna start a couple weeks early, take the break those couple of weeks, and then pick it back up because we can do that. That's the glory of homeschooling. One of the many things, and if you've seen my pros cons video, pro is all that time for extracurriculars. We love it. They love it. We can commit to it. We can be flexible and fit it into our schedule very easily because homeschooling is awesome. So highly recommended if you have any kind of very big commitment extracurriculars. So like I said, I know that I'm taking 2 weeks off in August. That just is a necessity. It just is what it is. So knowing that we're going to start, I'm going to call it the week of the 27th in July is when we're going to start. Okay, so then you have to figure out how many weeks of lessons you're going to do. So the average school year is 36 weeks. That's average. There are, I think, maybe only 1 or 2 pieces of our actual curriculum that go for 36 weeks, have 36 lessons, and one of them is spelling. There are 36 weeks of spelling. A lot of things like math you see, and then I just figured out our science. Our science is going to be 30 to 32 weeks. Math you see is 30 weeks. Last year when we did, or 30 lessons, so I'll do 1 lesson a week. Last year when we did building blocks of science, it was 30 lessons, so 30 weeks of science. I know that history of the world, that curriculum actually has more chapters than there are weeks in a school year. So what we do is we either double up on some weeks to finish them faster. I think there's like 42 chapters in that book, somewhere around there. Or what we'll do is we'll actually start them early because we tend to just listen to it in the car. So we'll start it early and then carry it over the holiday breaks when we're not doing any other schoolwork because, again, we've just popped it on in the car, either on the way to swim lessons or dance. We listen to it on the CD player as a family, and she reads along as she's listening. It's worked out really well for her retention, actually. Okay, so what you need to know is when you're going to start, anytime you decide to take off, like we will take off the week of Thanksgiving, at least 1 week of Christmas, that 2-week break that's normally off. We usually do a fall vacation. That's not going to happen this year because it's crazy. We usually do a week-long spring vacation. Don't know if it's going to happen, but I want to be done by mid-May, Mother's Day, somewhere in there. I like to have it wrapped up because the next dance season has gone crazy and it's time to focus on that. So I know how many weeks I want to have. And if I count this up, it is. Okay, so if I am planning to stick to 30 weeks of main instruction, then I am basically done by Thanksgiving. We can pick it up again that first full week of January, and then take a week off in mid-March for like a vacation. And I can move these weeks around. I'm not married to that date. And that finishes us up by May, takes us into the first day of May. I am really good with that schedule. But also, like I said before, if there's anything that's beyond 30 weeks, we will continue those lessons in the breaks. It'll just be a much lighter workload those weeks. Now, there are different kinds of curriculum in the sense that, like, spelling, for example, is by lesson. So that's one lesson every week. Then there are things like the skill sharpeners geography that instead of being by lesson, it's broken down by how many pages to do to finish on time. So what you need to know is which curriculum pieces that you have. Now, Timberdoodle does an amazing thing, and if you use their online scheduler, it does it for you. They give you a special code with your curriculum kit that you've purchased. You plug it in, you exempt your dates, you decide when you want to start, how long you want to go, and it auto-populates and does it for you. And then you can print out pages of like little checkboxes, and it's amazing. And I fully plan to do that. But not everybody uses them, and you might need to know how to plan. So instead of bringing in all of my curriculum pieces, and you can literally just open the table of contents and write down how many lessons for this or how many pages for this, and then guess what? It's just math, okay? It's just math. So they have done it. If you've ordered their curriculum kits, they have it all figured out for you. So you know that, let's see, our literature program, okay? So our language arts program, it is 30 weeks of lessons, okay? So one lesson a week. So you need to do 1 week's work to finish in time. So you could do one lesson a week. And they have it broken down by lessons. Let's see. First language lessons. It's actually 110 lessons in the book. So we would need to do 3 lessons a week in order to get done on our schedule. So basically you just figure out how many total lessons or pages and then divide by number of weeks you want to do the work. It is that simple. And then you just have to stay on track. So while Timberdoodle's online scheduler does go ahead and give you, it populates the checkboxes, and last year I printed them all off and had her a new and fresh one for every day. I don't plan to do that this year. I'm gonna use it and populate it, but I'm not gonna print it off every week. Instead, by the end of last year, what we had done was a workflow. So I'm gonna show you an example. These are their chore charts, and it is absolutely Jordan Page inspired, and they hang and they mark them off with the things that they are responsible for doing. It's just clear clipboards, and I printed a sheet off to make specific for them and taped it on the back, and then they can use this like a whiteboard and wipe it off every day. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, but instead of their chores, I'm going to have the flow in which they should do things. So every day it would have language arts because maybe they need to do a page of that every day. Every day it would have math because they need to do at least 1 page of math a day. So whatever I use my math to figure out they need to accomplish in a week will go on their flow chart. That way they know what they need to do next. They know how to mark it off, and they can see their week ahead. We had it last year. Actually, I didn't turn it. It wasn't this way. It was landscape. And so we had Monday, and she needed to do these things. And then I would put, you know, her fun things. So like, you know, there's not an art project for every week. There's just not as many of those. So like maybe we did an extra, right? So Timberdoodle kits come with a lot of extra things. So we would do like a language arts extra on Monday, and that could be a Mad Lib or write your own story. So on Tuesday, we might do our extra activity might be a STEM activity. That way I can be certain that she is rotating through all of those things. Wednesday, it might be a game. One of the games that's come in her Timberdoodle kit, the Moby Max, or the Squirrels Go Nuts, or any of those things that we can play together as a family. That's her extra on Wednesday. So by doing the flow system, I found that it helps her definitely get everything done that she needs to in a week to stay on track, but it also varies it up a bit, because having the entire week to look at for her didn't work as well as just having the flow. I think she needs to be told pretty much exactly what to do at a time, but without being told exactly what to do at a time. So she just needs that plan set up. And it is wonderful to be able to do that. And I appreciate, because the way that Timberdoodle does do their scheduler, and you can see it here in the handbook, is it's got the curriculum piece, how many lessons are included in the total curriculum, and then how many per week. So when you do their online scheduler, if there's 7 math sheets in a week, it has 7 boxes. So you just print off 1 page per week. And we may go back to that, and she may find that easier, but I think especially with my little one, it's going to be really handy instead to keep the same chart, not have it change, and to go through and have her be able to check it off herself. I think she's really going to feed in really well to that autonomy. So while I have not sat down and plugged everything into a scheduler, let me know if you want me to share some of what that looks like. It's pretty great. And like I said, you can get access to it and this all on your own, because even if you are manually plugging in pieces of curriculum you have purchased elsewhere, it is awesome to have. And some of the features of it are that it will, if you've got a week that's a little light, because say you have, 4 art projects, if you have a week that's got a little bit less to do, it's automatically going to plug those extras into the weeks that are less. So it tries to keep it balanced. Instead of getting you a week where you're doing 500 things and next week you're doing 2, it keeps it kind of even, which is really wonderful. So I am really going to sit down with my scheduler, because now I've figured out my dates of, weeks off, weeks on, when we're starting, when I'd like to end, and get going with that. So wish us luck, because now we've got 2 buddies in the fold. And then we'll keep you posted. If you don't remember, I am actually a work from home mom. And so our day has to be structured so that I can help them and teach them as a homeschooling parent, but also so that I can get the things done that I need to get done with daily responsibilities. Because again, I work from home, I run my own business. So it is important to me that in their flow, we focus first on the things that they do need my help with to set them up for success. And we usually do really heavy together work on Monday. The initial language arts lesson or the initial math lesson, so that then as the week goes on, she can do those worksheets included with Math UC on her own. And then I just check to make sure she is progressing well and handling it great. So, like I said, fingers crossed, we've got this down with 2 kids. We'll see. We will definitely see. And I will be giving you guys individual curriculum piece flip throughs. I think could be really handy, especially coming from the secular side, because there's just not enough of it out there. And I will be giving you progress reports on how it's going. Once I get our flow figured out, I definitely plan to share what I'm going to be expecting in 1 week's time from my kids, just to give you an idea of that if you're struggling, if you're not sure what to do. Like I said before, if you need any help, simply reach out. Hopefully somebody here in the secular homeschool community will be available to help you. You really are already in a better spot than I was in, because you've found some information on secular homeschooling, which can be quite the struggle. So if you're going to be new to homeschooling here in 2020, 2021, we are on your side. We are here for you. Reach out. Don't suffer and struggle alone. Any questions at all we can help with, please let us know. And I will have links below to our favorite things, some of our favorite homeschool resources, those wonderful things that we truly have enjoyed and found most helpful in our homeschooling journey. So if you found any of this entertaining or informative, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. We appreciate you being here, and as always, good luck on this homeschooling path, folks.